Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. So today is the release of the new Tech Tree double barrel guns, and you've got 3 new tanks added to the line. You've got this tank, which is the Tier 8 IS-2-II. Then you've got the Tier 9, the IS-3-II, and then you've got the Tier 10, the ST-II. And today I've got 3 replays to show you the first of in the line which has come out, which is the IS-2-II. Okay, so I've got 3 replays to show you today. One is top tier, one is mid tier, and one is bottom tier, so you can see how this tank can handle. But what I will do is I'll briefly go over, before we get into the battle, just some of the statistics of the tank. So if you haven't seen the dual double barrel tanks before, and I'll briefly go over it. You basically got 2 barrels, and you can choose to either fire one barrel individually. So when you fire your first shell, you'll then have a slight interclip, but then your next shell will basically be ready to fire on your second barrel, because both guns sort of reload individually. Or you can choose to fire both guns at the same time to sort of double your alpha. Bear in mind that each gun works on its own. So one shot still might bounce or miss, or the other shot might hit or penetrate. Or both of them will penetrate. But you can choose to fire them both at the same time, which is good for like finishing off tanks when you know you need that extra damage. If you want to just keep the maximum DPM, you fire each gun individually, because essentially you fire one gun, you then got a slight interclip, and then your next gun's ready to fire. And all right, while that's happening, is your other gun is then reloading. So that's when you get the best sort of DPM of the tank. This particular one has 300 alpha, and on the standard rounds you've got 221 penetration. On your premium rounds you've got 256 penetration with 300 alpha. 980 velocity in your standard AP rounds, 1250 on your premium APCR rounds. You got 7 degrees of gun depression. I think the accuracy on this tank is actually okay. Like, I don't even run stabs on this tank because it doesn't really feel like it needs it for me, at least when I'm playing it. And I think I got a top speed to 37 kilometers an hour, but that's a little bit boosted because I am running the traction system in my setup, which you will see shortly on the bottom of the screen, my crew and equipment for this tank. As far as the armor goes, the turret's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. The whole armor itself isn't very good at all, and tanks won't struggle to penetrate your whole armor. But that's briefly, the statistics of this tank. But what I really like to do is just show you and demonstrate the tank in the actual vehicle, in the replays itself, because I'm sure you're getting bored of me rambling on. So let's just get on with it. Let's get into the first replay, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Okay, so the first replay we have here is on Himmelsdorf, and I chose to use this replay, funny enough, because I actually made a few mistakes with the gun mechanic, and I wanted to demonstrate that. So initially, after I've got out this little sandwich I found myself in, I'm going to try and head down the banana, which is what I like to call the banana line, which you will see, and try and battle there. Like I say, we are top tier, which is nice on this one, so our armour's going to be more effective. Like I say, you can side scrape okay, but the whole armour's not that great, and the turret armour, it's alright when you're top tier. But when you're bottom tier, your tanks are going to be able to go through your turret, if I'm honest. So initially we pull up into this position here, and we're trying to side scrape to get a few shots into this enemy tank destroyer. So we're using this single shot gun here, which is the best you could do for your DPM, because you can see, I'm ready to fire my next gun, but at that time I was waiting, my other tank gun was reloaded, so now I have one gun already reloaded and ready to fire, and I just need to wait for that interclip and I can fire again. So what we do now, we move forward, and this is where I make a mistake. See, I swapped to the dual double gun mechanic, so I boost it and I pen both shots, which is great. But I've actually, because I've done that, now both guns are on reload, so I've got to wait for this interclip to go in, and then, wait to fire that gun again. So I've actually got less DPM, but by basically doing it that way. And the best way to use the gun really is use your single shot gun as your main bread and butter, just to get all your DPM going, because you get the best DPM that way. This gun, you feels like you're firing all the time if you do it that way. And then when you need to, if you need to get that boost of damage to finish someone off, or maybe you don't think you're going to get a bigger opportunity to get more shots into the same target, that's when you swap by using left on your D-pad and using your dual gun mechanic to use your double barrel, basically. So normally use your single shot gun. If you need to finish someone off and you need that boost of damage, use your double gun mechanic. Or if you don't think you're going to get a bigger opportunity, a bigger window to get damage, use your double barrel mechanic. That's the best way I would use it anyway. So we try and get a shot on that light tank. Unfortunately it dirts, but you can see we're already ready to fire with that second barrel. So like your DPM is just really good in this tank, and it just feels like you are firing all the time. And to be honest, I've had a lot of fun playing this tier 8. Actually, I have really enjoyed it. We're going to try and finish off this light tank, which we do, confirming our third kill of the game, and then the enemy equalizer is shooting us, but it don't really take that much damage from it, and we've done okay. We managed to get another shot into that equalizer there, and now we're going to try and get some shots into this challenger. We put him onto a 2-shot with a single shotgun. We could have used a dual gun mechanic to finish him off, but we didn't want to. We wanted to keep our gun at the best we could here, and we picked up the 4th kill because our friendly team are capping out, and I'm concerned that we're going to cap out before I've had a chance to get the most out of this game. Because I'm having a good game, we've got 5 kills here, but I've only got 30 seconds left in the cap. I picked up a 6th kill, and there's still 6 tanks remaining. I think I could potentially get a pause medal here, but unfortunately my friendly team are capping, and this is a bit of a concern for me because I'm thinking, oh, this is a shame because I'm having a good game, and I can get a Devastator here. Maybe I can pick up a Radley's, or if I'm lucky I could get a pause medal, but I'm not going to be able to do that at the moment because we've got 8 seconds left on the cap circle. I'm hoping maybe someone gets out the cap. So I get some shots here into this guy's Kate here, putting him onto, well, he's on a 1-shot now. We use the double gun mechanic, but with 16 seconds left on the clock, unfortunately bounced that shot there, which is a shame. We're going to try and close the distance. I do make a mistake here. I swapped, this is my own mistake. I haven't realised I've swapped to the dual gun mechanic. I'm trying to shoot my gun here, and yeah, I didn't need to use that double barrel. I could have finished him off with a single shot. There's still 4 tanks remaining. I've got 7 kills, but it looks like we're going to cap out, and I'm not going to get an opportunity, which is a shame because 2 tanks I could have killed on basically full health, and I probably would have at least picked up a Radley's, and who know what we could have gone with that game. But it was cut short, and we wasn't able to get to the end. But that is it for replay number 1. 7 kills though, 4,200 damage, 400 assistance, 980 blocked. It's only a 2nd class, but new tanks, the ace requirements is always set a lot higher when it's just released. But that's it for replay number 1. Let's move on to the next replay. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2 on Overlord. This time it is a tier 9 matchmaking. So we are middle tier. There is 1 enemy light tank and 1 enemy fun police in the game, aka enemy artillery. And it's team destruction. So this time we don't have to worry about being capped out. And we're just going to try, and initially we're going to head to sort of the middle of the map and just see what we can do from this situation, see what gets spotted, and try and work it out from there, and just try and get into a brawl, ideally as quickly as we possibly can. So we're heading up to this position. You can see a lot of tanks have been detected, and we should be able to potentially get some shots in. We've got to be a bit concerned with the enemy artillery. It's one of the reasons I didn't actually go to the full right hand side of the map, just because I know the artillery does focus there a lot. And I'm going to try and play this sort of ridge, well, wait here to see if anything comes around this ridge near this windmill. Ideally, you do have to be careful pushing out here, because as you see, this friendly tank in front's pushed forward, but he's then got shut down by enemy tank destroyers at the back. And I don't really want to push any further than that, because I know there are going to be tanks which are not going to be detected. And one thing I should mention, which I didn't mention at the start, is you're a Soviet heavy tank, and the view range on this tank is not good. So you're kind of blind as a bat, to be honest with you. You do a lot of the time rely on your friendly team to actually get the spots for you, because that is a problem. But you are a heavy tank after all, and it is a Soviet heavy tank. But yeah, so we've noticed there's quite a lot of tanks on the right, and we're thinking they're poking up quite high. Maybe we can get a shot in. We've seen this enemy medium on the left. We've got to be a little bit careful. There's an enemy light tank trail base. We might be able to get a shot in here. So we get a nice shot in there, penetrating that tank while he pulls back down, getting our first penetration of the game. But meanwhile, there has been enemy heavy tanks on the left starting to push forward, which we might have to try and deal with. We're just trying to squeeze in another shot into that enemy light tank there, which we wasn't able to do because he gets into cover. But now I want to kind of deal with these heavy tanks, and I'm hoping that they've pushed around enough that we can fight them without having to fight the tank destroyers covering them, if that makes sense. We don't want to be put in that situation. Unfortunately, that shot doesn't go where I want it to, but we should be able to get a shot. We're trying to go for the drive ball here. We actually damaged the engine. Now, this IS-2 can get set on fire. It hasn't happened that much to me, but I know when I was speaking to Petty earlier, he said he has got set on fire on it quite a lot. So that is something you've got to be concerned with. Obviously, I did damage the engine straight through the drive ball there, so there's always a chance I could set his engine on fire. So we're trying to get, we're doing okay here. We bounced at, a shot, and we're still fairly healthy. We lost a bit of hit points, but we've done a lot of damage in it in return. And we're trying to focus out one of these tanks as quickly as we possible, because it's still a very even game. But we are losing on the right-hand side, which means, if you look at the mini-map on the right-hand side, if we lose that area, they're naturally going to progress and come behind us. And that's a problem. But we are pushing up from the 1-2 into their base, which is probably going to hopefully turn the tank destroyers like this enemy T-95 away from us. And then we can try and kill these tanks fast, because I really need to kill them quickly, because I don't want to be where I am right now. I want to move around to the other side of the ridge so I don't get shot in the rear when we lose the other side. But I'm trying to focus out this tank destroyer first, because he really needs to go, because I need to try and keep my tanks, which are alive on the opposite side of the map in their spawn, alive if I can. So this T-95 gets put onto a one-shot. We've got just shy of 3,000 damage now, and we get a shot there into Earthshaker. Putting him on a one-shot if we use our dual, if we fire both barrels. We get another shot into him now, putting us onto just over 3,200 damage. But I've got tanks closing in on us, and this is getting a little bit hairy, if you like. A very close game, which is fun. There's a lot more fun when you are in those close games. We get a nice kill shot there onto that enemy Earthshaker by using the dual dub fire in both barrels, so we had enough alpha to finish him off. Like I say, that's where the gun can be really useful at having the flexibility to swap between the two guns. We've got this Icebreaker who has got shot by our friendly tank destroyers and the enemy artillery, which has helped us out greatly, because I need to get rid of this tank fast because I'm under a lot of pressure right now. Thankfully, we bounce a shot there, and he gets shut down by our friendly artillery piece who comes in to save the day there, putting us on now 4,000 damage. Still a very, very close game. We are actually losing by one tank now. I'm trying to use this side of the ridge because this is where I have the support for my tanks behind me, which is important to me, because things like this M103 tries to rush me. In theory, my team have now got shots into this tank, which I'm going to need their assistance. And you see he gets slapped by the SU there, and then now we're able to get our final shot in to finish that kill off. Putting this onto 2 kills, 4,300 damage, 850 blocks, with 2 tanks remaining. Again, like I say, close, very, very close game. But we've got support of our tank destroyer behind us here. We eat a shot there, unfortunately, from the other enemy IS-2. We're looking to finish him off. He is a one-shot to us. I really want him to poke so I can try and get that kill shot in, putting us into a 1v1. But I think he realises that I'm looking, and he's not doing that. Enemy Legion now puts a shot into us. We do get that kill shot on that IS, though, who was trying to finish us off. We are now going to swap to the dual gun mechanic so we can try and finish this tank off. Because we've only got 300 alpha, but we're going to have 600 alpha. We swap to this gun, looking for the finish, and we squeeze it in. So that's a good example, I think, on this replay of how the gun mechanics you can use your flexibility very well. That's how I would like to use them. So we have a good game there. We get 4 kills, 5,000 damage, 600 assistance, 1,000 blocks. It is only the first class, even though it is over 2,000 base XP, because like I say, the ace tanker requirements is generally a lot higher when the new tanks just are released. But nevertheless, a good game there, middle of the pack in the tier 9 lobby, and the one final replay to show you, which is us being in the bottom tier lobby. So let's move on. Okay then, so here we are for replay number 2 on Great Wall. There is 2 enemy artillery pieces in this game, And as you can see, we are bottom tier, so we are against tier 10s and tier 9s in this matchmaking. So initially we're going to push, if you like, to sort of the H sort of 4 position, sort of in the middle area. I want to play this side. I don't want to play the other side of the map, being the fact that we are in a heavy tank. I want to get into more of a scenario where we're in a bit of a brawl. It does look like a lot of our tanks have gone the other way, which is not ideal, but we do have a few tanks coming with us. I'd like, probably, if I'm honest, a few more tanks with us than I do already. But at this point we don't know how many of the enemy tanks have come this way, so maybe we'll be okay. So we're going to try and get into a position in the middle of the map. You see our friendly light tank has played very, very aggressively there, which I don't think was the play. Unfortunately, does get taken out. At least gave us a little bit of information about how many tanks have come in, but I'd rather have our light tank still in the game. So we don't want to carry on pushing down where we were. We're going to stay in this position where we do have support from the friendly artillery piece. This enemy Leopard is stopping us moving any further forward than where we are, because he's going to be hulled down. I'm hoping he can't stay where he is, because of the tanks on the other side of the map should be able to get shots in if that Leopard does get detected. But now I have support of my team, I am going to try and move forward and see what we can get done, basically. It's an even game at the moment, and the enemy team have lost 2 tanks. We've lost our friendly light tank already, but other than that, not a lot has happened so far. We're just trying to get into position. There's an enemy Murat who has now just clipped, and I don't think I'm going to get another opportunity to shoot this tank, so I'm going to swap to the dual gun mechanic, and something magical is about to happen. Boom, we full health ammo racked that Murat for 1,900 health, literally taking all of his hit points. So yes, that was probably the best shot. I was, as you can imagine, at this point very, very happy with that. I imagine Murat is probably not so happy. So now we've won that scenario, it's good. We've taken out a very, very dangerous tank, actually, a tier 10 tank. And we're going to try and push forward to get into another battle down this side. But unfortunately we spotted a Type 5 heavy, and I am not going to be able to penetrate this tank frontally. It's just not going to happen unless I get some very, very good RMG, with 256 penetration. Yeah, it's very unlikely it's going to happen. You're really going to want a 280 penetration at least to be able to deal with that. So that means I'm relying on either tracking the Type 5 to try and pick up some assistance from my friendly team who can shoot it with a bit higher penetration, or waiting until maybe he turns his turret at an angle where I can pen it. At that point, this is not a good situation, because I can't actually leave without eating off this Type 5. It's a little bit awkward, and I don't want to leave because I don't want to leave my tanks unsupported, to be honest with you. But also I'm under a little bit of pressure that I may have to go back and defend the base potentially. We have got an enemy bar who we can pen, and we do get a shot into that bar. Like I say, I'm being careful because I don't want to get dirked by the Type 5. I tried a shot in this lower plate. Like I say, it's very unlikely that's going to penetrate. We do have 2 tanks now. If they go in, I will go in with them to try and get the side of this Type 5, so where I can actually pen them. Now, I've noticed the Type 5's turned its turret. I swapped to the dual double mechanic then to pen its side. And the reason I did that is because it's a window of opportunity. I don't think I'm going to get many opportunities that Type 5 is going to show his side turret like that where I can pen it. So I wanted to do as much damage to him as I possibly could when I could. And that's put us up to 2,700 damage and put the Type on to about half health. Now I have a decision to make, because I've got 2 tanks coming towards our base. Where do I go back and defend the base now? Do I try and help my friendly VZ? I've chosen to help my friendly VZ and then go back to the base, hoping I'll have enough time. Mainly because I didn't want to leave my friendly VZ. He's been helping me here, and I didn't want to leave him to fight this Type 5 by himself. So I am going to try and help him out. Type 5 again turns his turret so I can pen it, and I managed to fire and pen both shots, putting up 3,200 damage, then getting finished off by the friendly VZ here. And now I'm choosing to go back to the base. There is an enemy artillery I could potentially get shots at in their base, but I need to get back to defend my base just in case. There is tanks there is tanks defending the base, so I think that's going to give us enough time that to get back. They're not going to be able to just straight away cap. It might be that this game's over for me now because my friendly team managed to kill the tanks down there, but I am going to head over and try and help anyway. Now at this point, I must admit I wasn't paying enough attention to the map, because I actually thought there were still 2 tanks at our base, the enemy tank destroyer and the enemy chieftain, but the chieftain's not there. It was a chart. If I was paying attention on the mini map or the tanks that got destroyed, the heavy tank which was there has already been destroyed, so it's just this one-shot tank destroyer, which at this point I'm still heading over there, but it's probably not a lot of point because he's a one-shot. Realistically he's probably going to die to the Murat anyway, which he does now do, and now I should just turn around and it's obviously the chieftain's not there. So I've realised it at this point, and I'm thinking, right, where is the chieftain? And now I'm thinking he's probably at sort of like B8, I think that is, or 9, on the other side basically of the map on that hill. I'm thinking that's where he's going to be. So I'm going to start to make my way over there. Now, obviously, I do not have the best view range in this tank, and there's no way I'm going to help spot the chieftain because the chieftain's got far superior view range to us. Obviously, it is a tier 10 tank anyway. But our friendly medium tank's moving up, and I'm just trying to head that in that direction. I have no idea the hit points this chieftain is on. I'm assuming that's a location where he is. That's just my best guess. This was going through my mind at the moment. That's what I'm thinking he is. And I think let's just get to the hill. If he gets detected by our friendly medium tank who's pushing a friendly, I think it's a friendly Murat who's pushing there, which does have fantastic view range, I might be able to get a shot into him, or shot into them. So here we go. Like so, we're moving in position. The Murat's coming out, and the chieftain is there. We try and get a shot in. We chance that shot because we didn't think we'd get another opportunity. I'm going to cover the Murat. I want the Murat to stay this side of the ridge, if I'm honest, because then I can put shots into him. I do get one shot into the chieftain, putting us onto 3,700 damage. Unfortunately, our Murat gets taken down. It's a shame our Murat didn't stay this side of the ridge, because if he stayed this side of the ridge, then the chieftain would have to pop up to shoot the Murat, and at which point I could have got another shot in, maybe finishing off the chieftain and picking up a kill in a tier 10 tank. But now I'm thinking that chieftain's on like 300 hit points or something, or 200 hit points, and our waffle was on full hit points, so I'm kind of fully expecting the waffle. Well, I'm thinking the waffle's probably going to win. Obviously, it is a chieftain though, and the chieftain could be hold down. But at this point, I didn't want to start travelling all that way, and yeah, just to waste my time. And I thought I might just wait in case the chieftain backs up enough. And if he backs up into my line, that might be my best bet of trying to get any more damage out of this game. Unfortunately for me, the chieftain does kill the waffle, so I'm thinking, I might have even had time to get over there. Maybe I should have waited. But now our friendly heavy tank is going over, our friendly VZ. I tried a blind fire then, because I'm kind of expecting the chieftain either to come back, which I think he'll do, or go to our base. But with our heavy tank moving up, it's the same scenario where our Murat was earlier. I might as well cover him at this point. There's no point in moving forward, because then if he spots the chieftain, I'm not going to get a shot. So I might as well just cover our friendly VZ from earlier, who was doing a good job of battling with us against that Type 5. Expecting the chieftain to maybe get detected here. He does get detected, and he gets taken out by VZ. And that brings us an end to this video, and yeah, that is it. So I must admit, I've actually, from my time of playing this tank so far, bear in mind I have only played it fully upgraded because I wanted to get the video and show you what the tank was like fully upgraded. I've really liked it actually. It's actually been, I've had a great experience playing this tank so far. Looking forward to getting on to the tier 9, and at which point I will get a video out of that tank as well. But as always, thank you for your support and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!